Yep, Scotty.
Beam me up. Beam me up, Nicole.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Healing Circle. So I am really excited to be here with all of you. And, I didn't really know how I was going to feel about moving the Healing Circle online. And there are times and places for meeting in the physical, but I really do enjoy, and I'll tell you why. I really enjoy the Healing Circle in this platform because I've realized that the Healing Circle is really where I can most help my students with their psychic development. And so, among other things, but, just in the conversations that I had today with my clients and with you, Maria, and just all that's happening in the world right now, all of us are having this awakening, this in, enlivening, if you will, the senses. And it's kind of crazy. And I really feel like the more that we talk about this and the more we embrace it and really try to cultivate it for ourselves and use it to our advantage, the better for all of us. And so I love the idea of doing it this way, because really moving forward, what I'm going to be doing in the Healing Circle is teaching you. We're going to do our ritual. It's going to have all that it did before, which is guided meditation, energy work, introspection. But I'm going to add this teaching element so that really you can use some of these tools that I use to put this stuff together for you. Part of how I do this is that there is planning, there is thought, there is consideration. But these days I leave a lot of space for what wants to come through in the moment. And Maria, I never would have done that a year ago, 2 years ago. I would have it. And what happened for me is that I did that last year. Then I would come to it and be like, I would do something completely different, because in the moment, that moment required something different. So I digress. Maria and I are having a really nice conversation before we started recording. But my point is that because we're all in our own spaces, you're really going to be able to create your own magic in your own space. And that's really important for me. And so for this evening, if you read the post that I posted earlier about this ritual, I said, be sure to bring your crystals, bring your essential oils, have a candle if you can. And these are things that are really easy to do when you're in your own space. And so much more of the Healing Circle for me, I want to be less of me doing the healing, although as a healer, I'm always creating the atmosphere for that to happen. That's really my role. My role is to back up, provide the entry, and let you all work your own magic. Any good healer is doing that. I'm not healing you, I'm enabling and coaxing your own healing ability. My vibe is here, you all come with me and we all do our thing. So I really want this to be more about me teaching you. And so, yeah, that's what the Healing Circle is. The Healing Circle is a combination of deepening our self-awareness so that we can understand our superpowers. What are our psychic abilities? Who is our authentic self? What does she look like? What does she desire? What does she need to take, nourishing soul level self-care of herself? So that's part of it. The other part of it is the other part of it is ritual. And so we're doing those two things. And the outcome of that is that we become more fully awakened, we become more fully empowered, and we become more activated in our power. And so that we feel like, hey, I need to throw it, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. I'm trying to use an example. Maybe it's around an illness and you want to create a ritual that sets the intention of, like, my body is speaking to me, I want to understand more fully how to embrace this experience, how to allow and receive this experience, and therefore gain more knowledge and insight about what I need to do to heal. And so you can create your own little ritual around that. This is a huge part of my spiritual awakening, was realizing, and I talked about this, Soul Mastery folks, in the teaching yesterday, that you can make anything sacred, anything. And when you start making finding purpose in the small things that you're doing, your purpose just grows like this beautiful garden. And every moment is meaningful and every day is a miracle. And that can happen for all of you, like tomorrow, today, yesterday. Well, maybe not yesterday, unless you're really good, but I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that there's some of you in here that could time travel. Anyway, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this, so that we can be a community of light workers who know that we're special, need a little help and support along the way, but ultimately we're here to get shit done, and to embody the next wave of, I can be strong and empowered and I can be a doer, but I can also sit back and rest and receive and take care of myself and know that I'm not doing this alone, that I am the light of God. And, we can do anything from there. And so anyway, I told you I was a little bit on fire today, and I'm not even reading my notes. I should be sticking to the plan. Here we go again. Outline, no outline, outline, no outline. So anyway, I just wanted to speak a little bit more about why I do the Healing Circle and really what the Healing Circle is becoming, not only for me, but for all of you, and why this is so important at this time, to really activate ourselves and to know, man, we can do a lot more than we thought we could. And we can create our reality, and we can invoke miracles, and we can really make a difference here. And so, my friends, let us continue. The other thing that I'm going to talk about a lot in this group, and I talked about this last month in the Healing Circle too, is that we're also going to talk a lot about our higher selves, which is your soul. And I've talked with a lot of people today about their higher selves. I feel like this conversation has been all over the place for me today. And the mystery school that I'm in right now is so much, but part of it is embodying your higher self in every way, so that truly you are downloading your spiritual technology. And, this is a workshop for another day for sure, but, allowing that higher self that is God. Okay. So we all have a soul, and that soul is the same exact, it's God. It's part of God. We are made in God's likeness. That's the special part that all of us have already. Everything magical comes from there. That's where the psychic abilities come from. That's where the knowing comes from. That's where the solutions and the answers come from. That's part of you that is fully aligned with light and love, that always has the answer and is always going to know what to do. And I have to tell you that, I read all that when I started reading this book, but that happened to me before my mind fully wrapped itself around it. And it's like, whoa, when that happens. It's like, at any given moment, I ask a question and I get an immediate answer about what I'm supposed to do. It's like that. It is a direct communication of something that is me, beyond me. It's incredible. And I want everybody that I can possibly help to have that, because it is unparalleled to anything I've ever experienced. When you have that, you don't need much else, really. I mean, again, I'm not saying we don't need each other and our outside supports, but like, to have that first and foremost it's a true gift. It's a true miracle. Well, it's not a miracle, but feels like it sometimes. So we're going to talk about that a lot also in this group, is how do you cultivate a deep relationship with that part of yourself? How do you bring your higher self into the driver's seat most of the time? So that's another cornerstone of the Healing Circle and what it's all about. And as you all know by now, that the Healing Circle is part of sovereignty, which God has been speaking to me about this for years. And I'm still not really ready. And I'm still not really talking about it and whatever. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. We're going to grow together in that group. Okay. Because I have a lot of vulnerability to share about, yes, all of what I just said. I'm also still human, and I'm also still working deeply on myself all the time. But anyway, I did it. It's launched. It's open. Sovereignty is a virtual spiritual collective. It's what I want to become, a global community of awakened people who just want to celebrate each other's spirituality, and also invite those people that feel very disconnected or estranged or orphaned from spirituality, welcome them back and say, hey, you don't have to do this any other person's way. Guess what? Like, spirituality is just like your haircut, and anyway, there's a lot of deprogramming that people have to do before they even come to that place of feeling worthy of that. And I want to help people with that, because that is a big problem. It's causing a lot of problems on earth right now, period. And so within that community, we commit to discovering and embodying our personal sovereignty through our unique spiritual practices. And so everything that I do from this moment forward is about spreading my voice of that community and inviting people into that community so that we can just do this work together, and that we can support one another. We can see each other, hear each other, celebrate one another, and, have a community of people who really get it. Because what I've learned with this stuff too is the more awakened you are, it gets lonely, like it gets lonely. And more on that later. Again, that's probably another topic for another day. So that's a little bit more about the Healing Circle, and a little bit more about why I do what I do, and what you can expect from this moving forward. And so, and in my true heartfelt invitation that all of you will take this work seriously and commit to this aspect of yourself of growing in this way, because the world really needs it. So I want to talk a little bit more about ritual, because rituals are pretty amazing. And so, yes, by nature, human beings love ritual. So rituals make us feel safe, they make us feel organized. And how many of us truly really like to feel safe and organized? I like to feel safe and organized. Rituals help us get ourselves into a frame of mind for a particular action or process. And so with energy work, with this type of work, with spiritual work, intention is the primary thing. That's it. All you need is intention to move energy around, to move electrons, to shape reality, to manifest reality. That is actually true. And so everything else is extra. Now, I'm a ceremonialist. I know that about myself. I love creating ritual and ceremony for people. I love everything I do at this point, just about is a ritual. This is why I carry, so many of you see my little medicine bag. I realize it's because at a moment's notice, I can pull out my stuff and have and open my little circle. That's why I highly recommend. You can use anything, a lunchbox, a Mary Poppins thing. Amanda Greenberg has a.
What's in there? What's in your little bag?
Well, crystals and some herbs and some other magical secret things. But I like the 5 crystals that I keep in there. So I'll show them to you. Let's see if I can do this. Can you see them? Not the one on the top, obviously, but the next 5 below are some of the most powerful crystals that I have. There's a tourmaline in there. There's 2 tourmalines in there. This phenakite, this one melts ice. And this is an aquamarine. And this is a little token I found from San Diego, from the beach, from the Pacific Ocean. So, yeah. And when I get lazy and don't want to carry my briefcase around of stuff, I just have my pouch. So today's one of those days, folks. I'm only human. So I want you to start to understand about yourself. What do you like, right? Like, we built altars together. What things are special to you? We don't have to read books about this stuff to know how to do it. We just have to follow our intuition. And I really want to invite you to make everything about what we're doing in this particular aspect of our time together, the Healing Circle, to allow it to be really intuitive, allow it to be feminine. Practice your feminine energy here, because this is a really safe place to do it. And you can't do this work without having a good, solid balance of your masculine and your feminine. In fact, I would say, well, anyway, again, I already feel myself going into so many different rabbit holes. It's just that kind of day. So I'm a huge fan of ritual. I create rituals for just about everything. The 3 rituals that I employ most often, that I, in my humble opinion, think you know, all of us should be doing some version of, and some of this will be familiar. Number one, a daily self-inventory. So I'm not calling it a ritual or a ceremony when I'm asking my clients to check in every day. I don't care how or when you do it. I don't really care what you do within it. You can pray, you can meditate, you can say prayers, you can, I said that, you can journal, you can sing, you can dance, it doesn't matter. But just a way to tune in. You can also make that a really nice little fancy ritual. I mean, I loved setting up my yoga mat, my altar, my breakfast, you know, my book, you know, like out looking into my yard. And if I mean, I don't start my day like that often, but that's about the best way I can do it, you know, followed by a walk in the woods with my dog. Secondly, connecting to your divine source. So for those of you that have been spiritually estranged, I can't recommend this enough. I have a lot more to say about this, and tonight's not the night. More on that. I do have more resources to support that practice. And third, clearing your energy. So everyone, if you've talked to me in the last 24 hours, I feel like we've talked about clearing your energy. As my intuitive abilities are heightened and my sensitivities are further sensitized, I'm finding more and more the importance of us really remaining sovereign in our boundaries, and that includes energetic boundaries. So in the beginning of the Soul Mastery program, we talked a lot about energetic self-care. Well, for the remainder, we're going to go a little deeper into clearing and protection because it's very important. And I will share my experiences with you with this and battling dark energy, because that's a real thing. And we all should know how to do that. We should all know how to manage those things as they come up, because it's just energetic self-care. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but this is no different than wiping your nose and washing your hands after you do it. Okay, so expect that. Our plan tonight, and I'm really excited about this. So we are going to do a typical healing circle experience where I'm going to lead you through a guided meditation. I will guide you through a ritual, but there's also going to be a framework that I'm going to follow, that I'm going to share with all of you, so that for whatever intention that you might have, whether it's healing, whether it's prosperity, whether it's health, whether it's love, whether it's clearing, you know, you have at least a basic framework to plug into. Because I know that when I was starting out in this realm, I needed somebody to guide me. I didn't have the confidence to put this stuff together on my own. Now, so it's not enough really as your teacher to say, okay, well, it's all about intention. And I mean, I get, you know, unfair, but I understand the difficulty of that. And so I have created a framework that I'm going to use tonight that I will share with you, that you can sort of, it's like a ritual Mad Lib. I don't know if any of you know what those are, those of my Gen Xer friends out there, but so that's what we're going to do this evening. And so specifically what we're going to do this evening, in addition to learning a framework, is we're going to cultivate deeper self-awareness, which is always a part of what we do together. We're going to clear all 4 levels of your being and all of your energy centers. We're going to then listen and receive deep guidance from our higher selves regarding our self-care on all 4 of those levels. So I thought this would be a really nice entry point for the topic of self-care, really opening ourselves up to receiving divine guidance about what we need the most on all 4 of our levels. So that's going to happen this evening. And also, again, just learning that this stuff is pretty simple, and I want you all to feel really good about doing it on your own. I really want you all to be energetically self-sufficient. Okie dokie? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to quickly go through this framework quickly, and then you don't have to put it together while we're actually doing the ritual. But just to talk, my left brain wants to talk you through it first. So I have 8 steps here, and I literally just pulled this together today because I really felt like, okay, there needs to be a little bit more divine, there needs to be a little bit more guidance here. The first thing that you want to do is you want to open your circle, or you want to set the ambiance. And so what I mean by this is creating sacred space for whatever it is that you're about to do to take place. Now, you can be sitting in the seat of an airplane when you do this. Again, all that is required is intention. And so it makes no difference if I'm sitting on an airplane and I close my eyes and I imagine a beautiful circle of purple light, of violet light around me. It makes no difference if I do that or if I'm sitting in my yard and I surround myself with amethyst in all of the eight directions. No different. I'm still setting the intention to create space. I'm either doing it this way or that way, or the multitude of other ways. So that's why I suggested, if you can, do this close to your altar, light a candle. A candle is a great way to say, okay, ritual begin, ritual end. It can be as simple as that. So I don't have a candle with me. We're not really allowed to have flames here, but you have a way to basically consecrate the start, if you will. The next thing that you want to do is clear your energy and clear your space. Now, this can be really simple. So again, you can close your eyes and you can say, Archangel Michael, please clear me. You can, use sage and smoke. You can light an incense stick. You can, as you're igniting your flame or fire, you can imagine that the flame bursts out into all four corners of your room and the fire cleanses you. So again, intention. But you clear your energy or you clear your clear your space. You can use crystals. So as long as your crystals are clear, you can, use a grid or, one of my teachers used to, I don't know what she used, but she would, circle our energy centers with crystals. There's endless opportunities or endless ways that you can do that. I use essential oils too. So I know a lot of you are, interested in kind of learning more about essential oils. So sometimes I'll diffuse a particular plant like lemongrass, clary sage, geranium. Just trying to think of some off the top of my head. Oils that tend to be very cleansing or clearing. You can use essential oils on your energy centers, and just invite the oil to imagine that the oil is seeping into those spaces and clearing and cleansing them. So lots of different ideas. Today we're going to use, I have an essential oil here. I have crystals too, but we're also going to do a little mantra. We're going to do a little affirmation that I will share with you that you can use or modify to your own liking. After that, you can invoke support from your family of light. And so, this can be God, which I always invite God because why not, right? You can invite ascended masters. You can invite the angels or the archangels. You can invite your guides and guardians. You can invite your ancestors as long as you know that your ancestors are aligned with love and light. So sometimes I'll invoke people and then I'll say anyone who's aligned with light and love and has my highest interest, who acknowledges or honors my best interest or something like that. But you can invite your, because they want to participate. My friends, they're everywhere. They're everywhere and they want to participate. I mean, literally, the veil is very thin. The veil is going to continue to get thin. You have access to an unlimited amount of support. All you have to do is ask because you have free will. They can't help you unless you ask them. If you ask them, boom, they're done. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So one of you special people on this that will watch this in later told me that during one of our when I was doing my most recent attunement, that Mary Magdalene was there. And I've been working with Mary Magdalene for some time. Now, I haven't had such direct communication with her, but I asked her to show up and help me with my stuff. And guess what? She does. And that was validated by somebody who had no idea that I was working on that. I mean, it's just insane. So they are available. Learn about them. I invoke different entities for different things. Right now I'm working with Divine Feminine Christ Consciousness. So there are 8 Divine Feminine Ascended Masters that I use all the time, depending. Isis, Hathor, Green Tara, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, the Sophia Dragons, and White Buffalo Woman. And they show up. I get immediate responses. It's insane. And so, those relationships are like anything else. We have to be open and receptive to them. And when we ask, we must be willing to receive. So invoke support from your family of light. Then speak your intention. So once you have done all that sort of preparing of space, which really it sounds like I'm making it sound like a lot, but that could easily be 2 minutes long if you needed it to be or wanted it to be. But then speak your intention. And then after that, and this is the most important part, is to drop into a meditative receptive state. And so that is the part of the ritual where the real magic sets in. We have to relax ourselves and be completely open so that we are receptive to the messages that want to come through. That's where the magic happens. That's when the soul speaks up, is when you create the space and the intention, and now the physical environment within you and the energetic environment within you to receive that divine download or that divine intervention or the answer or what the next step. Okay. And then to close after you've done that, and that's usually that middle part usually takes the longest. But always express gratitude, always. Close the circle and release your support. I forget to do that sometimes. And again, if you forget a step, you're not like, condemning anyone to the, purgatory or anything like that. It can't happen that way. You really can't do this wrong. As long as you have a pure intention and a pure heart, there really is no right or wrong here. Okay. There are some things that we do need to learn about, but just know that this is so open-ended. And lastly, also too, keep notes. Make sure that you're recording this. So that, you can remember the stuff that happened. You can remember, ooh, I did it this way and I liked that, witches call that a grimoire. And it's basically a book of all their magic. They kept, you keep track of the seasons. And I have a gardening grimoire. I have this, I love this idea. I started doing that with my notes. Well, it's like my work grimoire. It's like I keep notes on everything that I do in this book. I draw in here, I doodle in here. It's also my notes for mystery school. Anyway, it's a really great way to remember these moments, these empowering things, and to be able to go back and remember them and to add to it, and you basically create your own personal magical cookbook. So, any questions so far, my dear Maria?
No, it's just good to hear that you keep notes, because I have this little fantasy that everybody else can remember things except me. So I'm glad to hear that you keep notes.
I don't take enough notes. I really don't. I don't take enough notes. I mean, I feel like I have so many divine interventions, and all God, wants me to do is to write more. I'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get there. Okay, my dear. Well, let's do this. So we're going to start our own ritual this evening. I'm going to follow those steps. And again, you don't need to, keep track of them while we're in ceremony, but just know that I am following my own recipe here.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to mute your line, Maria, because there's going to be a part where you can do affirmations, and I want people to be able to hear themselves in the video, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So,
I can mute myself if you want.
okay. All right. Okay. All right. So first, I just want you to take note of your surroundings, and in whatever way you can, create sacred space around yourself. So whether you're using physical objects to do this or just imagining a beautiful divine circle of empowerment and protection, just using your mind to create a sanctuary for this work. Next, I want you to clear your energy. And you can do this a number of ways. So if you have something to burn, resin or herbs, that would be good. And you can do that now. You can light your candle. You can hold a crystal, which is what I'm going to do. And we're going to say this prayer together. From the top of my head to the tip of my toes. And I want you all to repeat it. I restore and recharge the energy field of my body. I restore and recharge the energy field of my body. And if possible, you can add a visualization to this as well if something comes to mind. My aura is strengthened and restored. It shines like the rays of a million suns. I radiate peace from inside my bones. Kindness shines through my smile and my eyes. And I am lifted and held by my inner divine. I am loved and held by my inner divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then with that same intention, we move to clearing the space around you. And you're going to repeat this prayer after me. From corner to corner, this room is cleansed of any and all energies that are no longer in accordance with my highest good. From corner to corner, this room is cleansed of any and all energies that are no longer in accordance with my highest good. This space is now filled with love, peace, joy, healing, and abundance. May this space be forever protected, and may all those who enter be blessed, myself included. May this space be forever protected, and may all those who enter this space be blessed, myself included. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next, we're going to invite our family of light to participate with us here this evening. So we invite our guides and our guardians, any angels, ascended masters, archangels, nature spirits, ancestors, or any other entities or beings of light aligned with love and light and our highest good to be present and supportive for us during this work. I imagine that these legions of spirits are showing up and basically forming this enormous circle around us. They are strengthening our barrier of protection. They are shining their light into this circle, laying this beautiful foundation for the work that we're about to enjoy and receive and complete. I also invoke the Divine Feminine Ascended Masters to encircle us with their light of empowerment and protection as well. They are cheering us on. They want nothing more for all of us to understand just how powerful we are. And so just take a moment to really receive them and their presence. And I almost feel like my skin starts to tingle. You know, it's like standing next to a giant magnet. That's what it feels like. That just came to me, but that's what it feels like. I feel things. That's the way that I experience stuff. And next, my friends, we're going to speak our intention. So if you have an essential oil handy, or a crystal or something, it doesn't matter. I want you to use it now. And as you do this, as we're going to use another prayer to invoke our intention, to state our intention. And as you're doing this, I invite you, starting at the root, to just anoint your chakras. So at the root, your sacral chakra, your navel, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown. And do that in some order as you're saying these words. So this evening, I intend to commune deeply with all aspects of my being. Clear my space, both inside and out. Connect deeply with my spirit, and receive any and all wisdom and insight my soul wishes to share. I am learning how to take care of myself in new and profound ways. And I am open to receiving more guidance now. And so now, my friends, I invite you to settle into your meditative state. First, really by relaxing your body, finding a position that's really comfortable for the time being, a position that you know you can really relax and let go, but at the same time remain alert and activated. And since most of us ended with anointing our crowns just now, I want you to imagine that starting at the top of your head, we have this beautiful light that shines like the North Star. Let's imagine that it's a star. So I want to remind all of you that your soul is the same substance as the stars. True. And so just like everything else in the universe, you are a star and a star is you. So I want you to see this beautiful bright star above your head. And you have this moment of joy when you realize that that star is partly you and partly God, because that's actually what it is. But let's just imagine. And that this light is just, it's beautiful. It's like a disco ball bright, or the brightest thing that you've ever possibly seen. I want you to imagine that brightness. I want you to feel its warmth. I want you to experience and enjoy its energy. And with excitement and joy, I want you to pull that light down in from the crown of your head. And as you inhale, you move that light, that star, along the entirety of your spine, all the way down to your root. So you might want to lengthen out your exhales in order to do this. And then you hold your breath just for a moment if it feels okay, keeping that light at the root. And then as you exhale, allowing that light to flow back up your spine to the crown of your head. And I want you to do that for a few cycles. So taking a deep inhale in, imagining that light dropping down through your crown, passing through your forehead, your neck, chest, your abdomen, your pelvis, right down to the very tip of your tailbone, to your perineum, actually. Hold that energy there for just a moment. Allow yourself to feel the warmth around your seat. And then as you exhale, just allowing that light to shoot up your spine like an elevator. And if it feels like this light, this energy wants to start moving in a circular motion rather than an up and down motion, that's totally fine. Just allow this energy and this light to cycle through you with your breath. So with your breath, with your intention, with your own divinity, and with God, you are clearing your energy centers. Just allowing that light to permeate every aspect of your being. So through your chakras, imagining this light flowing through your meridians, which is your energetic circulatory system. Allowing that light to spill out into your aura, strengthening its protective barrier, illuminating it with this beautiful bright light. So that within this space of light, you feel awakened, you feel alive, you feel good, you feel really good. Because you and the light of God have just claimed your space. You have claimed your space. And I want you to continue to do this, and especially when you're on your own, do this as long as it feels good. This is a great, little visualization or meditation to do anytime, anywhere. In the car, at the grocery store, at the doctor, doesn't matter. But just allowing this light, connecting with that light and allowing this light to flow through you. And asking this light to do whatever you need it to do. If you need a clear head, if you have some lingering emotional energy, if you have a headache, you can ask this light to come in and help. Knowing that you are in the driver's seat. It's you, with God's help and support. And so next, I want you to bring your awareness to your physical self. So just really tuning into your body. I want you to feel the outline of your body, bringing your attention to your individual fingers and your individual toes, really connecting with the physical space that is you. And with as much openness and receptivity as you can, just begin to explore this aspect. You're not trying to make anything happen. You're not judging. You're not really trying hard not to have any opinions. You're just creating space. That's why meditation, general meditation, is so powerful. Because in order for this work to really work, you have to be able to come to a clear space, an open channel. And that's hard to do. So if you're struggling with that right now, that's okay. Please know that's okay. This is a practice. This is still going to work. You just might not have that much conscious participation with it right now, and that is okay. It'll come. So just really fully awakening to what your body is experiencing right now. Really accepting the reality of your body. Really hearing your body. All the while holding your body within this light. So this is a really safe place for your body to speak up. Sometimes we can get really afraid to do that, to listen. Most of us are really afraid to listen to what our body really has to say. Let's just be honest. We are in a really sacred space. That's why we're doing this, so that we can be fully online to what our body is trying to communicate. And then just listen. Keep the channel open, as free, as clear as you can. And if you don't receive any information, you just remain open and continue to allow that channel to activate when it's ready. And let your body know that you love it. You love your body. You're grateful for everything that it does. And that you're ready to take good care of it now. We've tried our best. We've always done the best that we can. And sometimes we need to do things a little differently. Sometimes we need to do a little more. Sometimes we need to do a little less. It's okay. We're only human. We're allowed a lot of trial and error. But we're ready to understand what our body has to say. Next, I want you to drop your awareness one layer beneath your physical body. So if you imagine your aura has many layers, different lines extending out from one another, we're basically inviting our awareness inward in the same but opposite direction. So we're moving one layer in, and we're going to explore our mental aspect next. And here we invite deep awareness about our thoughts, our mindset, our values, our goals, the things that our consciousness makes important in our waking hours. And we're just exploring the authenticity there. Just feeling around for any thoughts or any constructs, things that don't feel our own. And we all have them, all of us. So really trying to figure out what in our mental aspect, what in our mindset needs to go. And again, at this point, we're really not trying to make anything happen. We're just inviting this deep awareness. So if there are things about our mental aspect that are getting in our way, we really invite those things to be known. We like to shed some light there. So using that light of that star, and just shining it around your mental aspect, holding space for the divine knowledge to flow. And really here, taking as much time as we need to allow these thoughts to surface. Also inviting anything in our subconscious that needs to release, expand, manifest. Inviting our awareness to those deeper layers, knowing that we can't get there intellectually, we can't get there with our conscious mind, but perhaps inviting information through our dreams or through synchronicities. Perhaps we use other types of divination, but really inviting our higher self to communicate with us the things about our computer, our mental aspect, that needs to be reprogrammed for our highest good. And so setting that deep intention, if you're not necessarily receiving any information now, we remain open to that if and when we are ready. When we are ready, not if. You're all ready. Next, I move you one layer deeper inward, to your emotional aspect. And here we create space for any emotions or feelings that have gotten stuck, that have been repressed, that we've ignored. We invite their presence to be made known simply by our intention to pay attention in this new and profound way. So for a lot of us, we may start to feel physical tension here, because for most of us, that's how our emotions communicate, is through our physical body. And so if there are things that are chiming in around your body, I want you to take note of that. Again, you don't have to make sense of any of it. We're not trying to change anything or fix anything at this point. We're just remaining open and receptive to what wants to come through. Once again, imagining that that light is creating this soft, beautiful, I keep seeing it's like a cloud. I keep seeing this beautiful visualization of the sky. You know, because when we do a lot of emotional release, we need a soft place to land. We need tissues for our eyes. We need soft, nurturing things. And so what the light, for me anyway, is doing right now is it's creating this soft landing zone as a gentle invitation to receive these emotions that really are like the tar pit coming up from the center of my being. I used to liken in my early recovery, in my early 20s, when I started doing this work, you know, it was like pulling a man cover off of this pit in my soul, and all this shit would start to pour out, and it was horrifying. And in the beginning of all of this, I didn't feel like I had control over that. And so I was very reluctant to go there, because I felt like, man, if I open that valve, am I ever going to be able to shut it? I assure you, you can. And that it is absolutely necessary to knock that lid off. I mean, or you can go inch by inch. We all have our we all have our journeys. But just imagining that whatever needs to be released energetically, and again, your mind can participate, but it doesn't have to. So emotional release can just be like chills. It can be sneezes, yawning. It does tend to manifest in the physical, but just allow your body, that is so wise and wonderful, to help assist here. If you take your mind out of it, your body will almost immediately kick into gear and activate and do what needs to be done, because the mind and our computer is out of the way. So just allowing that to take place, whatever that process is for you right now, even if it feels like this deep relaxation that you're just being held by that light, that is enough. And I want you to move your awareness even further inward, right to the core of your being. So now we are at a very familiar place for this star. For some of us, our center is going to be around our heart. For some of us, our center is going to be in the center of our belly. But before we move into our spiritual aspect, I just want you to commune with your own light and the light of God right in your center. You know, I want you to really conjure all 5 of your senses if possible. I want you to see this light. I want you to feel this light. I want you to taste it. I want you to hear it. I want you to smell it. I want you to get to know intimately what your light looks, smells, tastes like. My light looks like a billion specks of rainbow. with this pearlescent glitter to it. Which is funny because for a long time I really kind of resented glitter. It was like too feminine for me, and so ironic that my energy is glittery. But anyway, authenticity, my friends, we are who we are. Communing with your own light in your center, I want you to invite your higher self to come speak with you. I want you to imagine sitting down for tea or coffee or ice cream or whatever you want with your own soul right now. The most pleasurable thing that you can imagine, I want you to share with your soul. If you don't know what that is, you can ask your soul and see if you get see if your soul just puts something on the table and surprises you. That's fun. And so here you are, basking the light of your own divinity, communing with your soul. And I want you in your own way, using your own words, to say hello and tell your soul why you're there. And I'm going to say this to my soul, and you can use my words or create your own. This evening, I intend to commune deeply with you in all aspects of my being. I want you to teach me about every aspect of myself and show me how to more deeply connect with you. Tell me more about you. As you know, I'm learning how to take care of myself in new and profound ways. And I am open to receiving more guidance now. And I invoke your presence to embody my heart, my body, my mind. And for the next few minutes, I want you to remain open and receptive, as we've discussed, and just allow your soul to speak up. Now, I don't literally mean speak, because intuition comes in many different ways. Some of us hear things, some of us feel things, some of us see things, some of us experience things. And so your intuition is going to speak in many different ways, and in different ways than mine. But for the next few minutes, I just want you to allow and receive this divine line of communication to remain open. And I invite you to remain open and engaged in this dialogue, for lack of a better word, as long as you feel necessary. I invite you to this practice of communing with your higher self on a regular basis as part of your daily practice. For now, we're going to express our deepest, deepest gratitude for our highest self, for being present always, for always having our back, for always knowing what's best, for always being available anytime we need to access it. And really extending the prayer to be more fully aligned and connected with this aspect of ourself, who knows everything about us and how we can support ourselves in every way, and how we can create a pathway for ourselves to thrive and prosper in all ways. We express our gratitude to our entire family of light that showed up for us here this evening. Our guides, our guardians, the light of God, our own higher selves, any ancestors, anyone who showed up this evening. We invite their support to carry on with us as we close this circle and step back into the reality of our daily lives. We ask for divine guidance and support in every moment. And most importantly, we ask to remain open and receptive to it. And it is with deepest gratitude that we close our circle this evening with the utmost humility and greatest empowerment. Giving one final moment of gratitude to ourselves for being open and willing and receptive to this work. To committing to our self-mastery, to our awakening, to our empowerment, and inviting our own lights to shine a little brighter today, so that by our own lights, we can turn on the lights of others and be beacons of light, even during the darkest of times. And to close our circle officially, friends, I bring my hands together in prayer and I say, the divinity in me sees and honors the divinity in you. And together we say, Namaste. Okay. So let me unmute Maria. All right. What do you think, Maria? Was that something special or what?
Yeah, it definitely was. I relaxed very deeply, like very deeply, and just had some different images come, almost like on the verge of dreaming and on the verge of, yeah. So it was hard to tell sometimes. What's that?
That's a good place to be. That's a good place
And then sometimes your voice would kind of like, I'd be like, where am I? Not sure. But yeah, it was powerful to build that circle in the beginning. Like I'd never done that before. And I could clearly see the circle begin of energy around, and then kind of an energetic light, coming down like a roof, like an energetic roof, and then from there just kept building. I've never done that kind of going in layer by layer. I have never experienced that before. So.
That just came to me today.
That's pretty cool.
Downloads. I don't do this alone. I think that's part of it. Is it's a paradox because, empowerment and sovereignty, you think, but it's actually, no, you have access to, so that's why I always allow space for that, because it always comes through. And if I create more space for it, then more comes through. And so that was really powerful. This was something special. This is definitely, I'm excited about this. I'm excited that I have this recorded.
It's great.
Which reminds
me too.
Oh,
because I
yes.
want to listen to it again.
So this is, and I'm excited to share this because I really feel like this is good stuff. Um, Also, a reminder to you and to everyone, myself included. Well, I have my notes, so this is, this is good. But take notes, and remember what happened, and you know, um, I'm doing this mystery school right now, and it's so much content. It's so much content. So there's like 12 chapters. No, there's more than that. There's like 16 chapters in the mystery school, and you go through each one individually, and there's at least 2 videos for each chapter that are at least 2 hours long each. It's a lot of content. And then there's journaling, ritual, there's everything. I mean, it's all of it. It's a lot. And but my teacher is like, listen, you're going to hear a million things that's really useful, and you can't wrap your head around all of it. So don't drive yourself crazy trying to remember everything either. I will make stars on things. Like if I ever have the time to go back and re-listen to things, I know where I want to direct that energy, but I don't drive myself crazy either. And I just want to mention that too, because again, this is an intuitive thing. And so I've really had to let go of my own rigidity, and this is for everybody. I had to let go of my rigidity about how this is supposed to look. And the more I'm able to do that, the more powerful it is every time. The more I go off script or just lead from my heart, and whatever needs to come through, that is, I guess, at least that's what I'm being asked anyway. So I also want to tell you this, and I'm really excited about this for the rest of for the group. Both members of Sovereignty and Soul Mastery will benefit from this. But I'm going to study with my teacher in Sedona at the end of July. And I'm really excited about this. So there's basically a 3-day conference, leadership conference, and then I'm staying 2 extra days to study with her with only 15 other people. And the whole purpose of the leadership conference is psychic development. So I'm going to come home like trails blazing.
Yes.
I can't wait to bring whatever that's going to be home for the rest of you, and it's going to, and I am so grateful to be doing this now, because regardless of whatever happens, in the future, we're always going to look back on this time and be so grateful that we were doing this work during this time.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot lately, just like the divine timing of all of this. So, Maria, do you have any questions for me about this evening?
I don't think so. It's a lot to take in. That's why I'm glad it's recorded. I love the structure, the framework of the ritual, and I will definitely be going back and taking notes on all that. And yeah, no, I don't think I have any questions. It's just, it seems like the structure allows you to create whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot.
Yes, and I thank you for reminding me to mention that you don't have to take notes, because I'm going to share mine with you. So even
Awesome.
the mantras that we spoke together, it's all written down. It's all written down. So you don't even have to watch this video again. I will include these notes with this. And also, I didn't mention this in the beginning, but if you're still watching at this point, I have a whole mini course on rituals that I'm going to share with the group as well. So that's extra if you need, and that's basic. You can read through that in 5 minutes or less. And I will share this framework along with this video, and you'll have this for your own reference and use, which is great.
Yeah, I really liked the mantras too. They were, yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot in this, yeah.
And I open the windows.
Ah, your train.
I can't get away from them. I really can't, but it's okay. What was I going to say about that? Rituals.
The mantras.
So all of this is used to be inspiration ultimately. So, I know in the beginning I had to use somebody else's mantras. I just didn't have enough what felt like
But,
creativity or
yeah.
confidence to put that
Yeah.
together in a way that was eloquent, you know? And so, you know, that's why I'm doing this, because we all need a starting point. But ultimately, I want you to use your own words, you know, and come up with your own invocations and your own way of doing things. Because the more personal and authentic that you make this for you, the more powerful it is. You know, and I've been receiving messages for the last year, like, you need to be more original. Like, you need to do your own stuff. You know, stop, like, you know, using others as for inspiration, because I didn't feel like I had enough. I didn't know enough. I wasn't enough to do it. And as I'm growing out of that, truly, I realize that my work is so much more powerful if it's just done in the moment. Because if I can't drive myself crazy with planning and creating the outline and doing all the research and blah blah blah, then if I'm fully in the moment, that's when it's the most powerful. So that's just something I also want to keep driving home to all of you too, is that it's only meant to be inspiration.
So let me ask you this. So when you are in the moment, do you prepare beforehand with some notes about what you're going to do, or are you just in the moment and so you have to do a recording so that you can capture it later, or you just let it go and assume what you need will be back, or a mixture of all that?
Well, my soul likes to be most prepared by having an outline or an idea, or at least open up to the intention around it. So for a couple of days, I'll be thinking about the healing circle. I'll be thinking, okay, what do I want to bring? What, you know, what are we talking about in other places? I will have an intention. I will invite something to come through. I always have, I always have notes. I'm an Aquarius. I'm a left brain. I love my intellect. I mean, you know, nothing wrong with that. But I do allow for, like, the looser that is, the more room I have for other things to come in. So it is most definitely a combination. It depends though. Sometimes, like, you know, if it, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've tried to be more fully prepared and that hasn't gone very well. But sometimes if I feel the freedom to do so, I will go into something completely open-ended and just allow myself. Like, I used to do corporate wellness. I used to do these things called in the office, when I was doing more corporate wellness, and I would lead employees in the office in a meditative practice. And I would, by the end of that, I did that for years. And by the end of that, I would just show up and I would feel the energy of the room and I would let people tell me what they needed and I would bring something to mind in the moment. And those were always my most powerful things when I can do that. I'm not always, if I wake up, I'm not feeling well, if I had a fight with my husband the day before, if I'm cranky, I don't always have, I don't have the space, the clarity.
That's true.
My
Yeah.
channel isn't clear. So yeah.
Okay. That helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm so glad we're talking about this. We're going to talk a lot about psychic development and really, like, let's do it. Time is now.
We're here.
Mm-hmm. Might as well, right?
Might as well.
So just before I click off the recording, if you have any questions about this, you know, like I said, just to reiterate, I will share the framework I will share my notes, including all the affirmations. I'll share a separate blurb about rituals and how to get started with some of those things. But, you know, I would love to hear more from all of you about, like, what you're making sacred in your daily life. Where are you adding ritual? And share it with us so that we can inspire one another. And whether you do it in soul mastery or sovereignty, I mean, sovereignty really mostly is soul mastery at this point, but wherever you do that, it's so helpful for the rest of us to see what you're up to in that way. So I really do invite you to share with us, and I'll do the same. I will do the same. That won't be hard because I literally make rituals out of everything. So thank you for making it this far. This was a long one. Yes, 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 my friend.